I'm going to visualize for you exactly how silver is earned in Albion Online. Now, some of you out there have quite low patience tolerance, but if you manage to work your way up in this game and get the necessary things to allow you to farm silver more efficiently, I'm going to show you just how much more silver you'll be making over time compared to what you're probably currently doing, which is either losing silver or earning very low amounts of silver per hour. I'm going to visualize all of the different activities that you can do as a solo player in this game so that you better understand how silver works and how you can get silver over time in a reasonable amount. Okay, to start out with, we're going to do some very basic, just the three primary ones: gathering, doing dungeons, and PvP. So gathering is going to look something like this. Over time, you're going to just slowly get more and more silver as you gather. And it's going to look something kind of like that, okay? So you start here, this would be like hour 1, okay? And this would be like hour, I don't know, 200. It doesn't really matter how many hours it is, but you're on a linear path of gaining more and more and more silver because the more you gather over time, the more resources you can get and sell, and therefore you will always be increasing in money. Now, tier 4 gathering may look like something like this, whereas tier 8 gathering may look something like this. And if you happen to do some risky black zone stuff, it can kind of look like this. When you die, you lose a whole bunch of stuff, and then you go back up, and then you die, and then you go back up, and then you die, and then you go way up because you found an aspect, and it can go way up when you find a mammoth, a baby mammoth. But let's be real, that's not usually how it goes. So essentially, leveling up your gathering, you're going to be on a linear track to making more silver. Dungeons, on the other hand, are a little bit different, okay, because they're just a flat line, and then you get some treasure, and then, except it's usually not that much, okay? It's like, you're slowly going down because you're getting repairs, and then you get some treasure, cool, and then you get some treasure, alright, and then you get a big treasure, alright, and it's kind of like that. And of course, you could say gathering is the same with the repair build, except it's not, because you're just constantly getting money. Whereas dungeons are pretty much a flat line until you get some treasure, and then, you do the dungeon, you get some treasure. But the treasure is usually so bad. Whoops, I didn't mean to, let's get that back on there. The treasure is usually so bad that it's just going to be like a very flat line, and maybe a little bump here, a little bump here. That's the realism of it right now, because dungeons are nerfed to complete hell. And if you buy maps, well, then every time you burn a map, you're just maybe going down, maybe going up. Like, maps are not so good. Okay, and then of course if you do black zone stuff, well then oops, you died. Oops, you died. Oops, you died. So there you go. Now PvP is, again, same thing. You're going to start out like, you're going to need a high budget for PvP, so we'll start the line out a little higher. Oops, you died. Oh, baby, you killed somebody that's really Gucci. Oops, you died. Oops, you died. Oh, baby, you killed someone. You get the point. And then, oops, you died. And oops, you died. And oops, you died. Oops, you died. Oops, you died. And now you're bankrupt. So, PvP is, you could be like, well, just get good. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters how good you are at making friends, okay? The people that play politics, the people that make a lot of friends, the people that have like 10 people on their team at all times in a party, zerging around, they're the guys that go like this, okay? The social guys, this is what their thing looks like, okay? When you're social, it only goes up, Being social, very good for PvP. Being antisocial, being a solo player, oops, bankrupt. So there you go. And we're going to just draw this now. And again, this is for solo players. Hey, you killed somebody there. Oops, you died though, and then you died. So that is the basis for silver generation on just these three. But there's more ways to make silver than just this. Next up, we have market flipping, crafting, and refining. So let's go and start with market flipping. Yay! Okay, so the way market flipping works is you're going to put a whole bunch of money into the market, okay? So you're way down here now. And as you sell things, maybe it starts rising up, rising up. And at this point, you're now basically, slightly higher up than when you started. But again, the problem with this is it takes a lot of time, okay? time is money. So in that same amount of time, you could have just been gathering and your line would be higher than when it started. And market flipping is almost completely, totally automated. This includes the black market stuff. There are people that run third-party programs that scan the markets, and they do this pretty much with bots at this point. So market flipping is just absolutely just if you unless you're like maybe young and you drink from the fountain of youth, you're an eternal vampire elf. Okay, there's it's not worth your time. It's just too time intensive. Okay, now crafting. Here's how crafting works. You need to be way up here when you start crafting. And let's say you start leveling crafting, right? You're leveling crafting, and then hey, guess what? You've maxed out your crafting, and then it just goes crazy. Crafting is the best way in the entire game to make silver. However, there is warnings. Okay, let's say you're a bow crafter, and you do this. You're dipping down here, and then you're getting up here, but oh no, someone else is a bow crafter. Look at your profits now. Your profits are like, oh no, there's like 10 more bow crafters, and they're all they're all part of the mafia, the cartel. They're selling at a loss. That means you're selling at a loss. Oh no, meow. So essentially, what happens is most players will quit when they're right here. They're just gonna straight up quit because they're bankrupt and they don't have a way to make money. Okay, but luckily, if you're good enough, you can make it about here, and then you're gonna start noticing a profit. And then whenever this happens, well, you either take up a different crafting profession or you quit the game. This has happened to many players who aren't strong. But let's say you're a chef character, okay? So here's how chefs work. You don't need as much money to start. And in 6 hours with 111 million, you go down, and then you sell all your stuff. And now check it out. As a chef, your crafting is now raising and raising and raising. But it's a little more rocky than that. It's more like this. And then it kind of goes, it spikes upward sometimes. It depends on sometimes it goes down, like, oh no, someone's selling all their stock. Oops, it's going back up, So crafting, this is for chef crafting, okay? This is for cooks, people that maxed out their chef skills. That's what it kind of looks like, okay? Whereas if you craft a weapon, hey, guess what? Oh no, okay, now we're back, right? And then let's say you hit a masterpiece item, and your masterpiece is like, pa-chow! Right, so you can, if you hit those masterpiece items, which are very rare, it can look like this, especially if there's high demand for like a meme weapon or a PvP weapon that everyone's using at the time, and there's a huge shortage of. All right, but otherwise, this is pretty much what crafting looks like, kind of something like that. Now, refining is also similar to crafting. However, you don't need any startups. You can start right here at the bottom, and you just refine, because you can refine tier 2 for free, and it looks like this. Refining tier 2, not bad. It's just more money over time. Now, once you get into like big levels of refining, it can look like this. Refining can absolutely look like this. However, the reality is that the cartel owns the crafting benches and the refining benches. So refining looks something like like whenever the cartel buys all the refining stations in town, it's just straight down. There is zero profit. You are better off selling the raw materials. If you refine it, you're refining at a huge loss, and it's over. So the clear winner of this category is crafting. However, it takes a huge amount of money to start up, just kind of like market flipping. But over time, you will make profit, and you might not, depending on other players. Now we have laborers, farming, and card swiping, which can go hand in hand. But anyway, let's talk about laborers. All right, so laborers, you're going to have a startup cost, and it's going to dip you down because the cost of housing, the cost of laborers, trophies, furniture, all that stuff, it's going to dip you down, okay? And then after that, as long as you put in the effort and you do the crafting or you do the farming or you do whatever it is to fill journals, laborers are a steady increase in funds. So you'll notice here, this time here, this can be anywhere from like 3 to 8 months, depending on what kind of laborers and housing you have. But after that, it's pure profit forever. So that's why I've always mentioned that every single person ever should always focus on laborers. Even on the brand new Asia server that's coming out, laborers should be the first thing you do. And however, due to the recent patch, it now costs 1 million silver to make your own guild, and it's going to be more expensive to get laborers started, especially on the new server. But it's not so bad on the West server currently, but this is something that every player should have and do. at all times. And there you go. So that's laborers, quick and easy, quick and dirty. Farms are a little different. Okay, farming is if you do farms, you can't do crafting. So you can no longer use alt characters for farms because any possible vegetable, fruit, herb, whatever that you're farming, animals, it doesn't matter. None of them will bring more profit than what the cost of premium currently is. However, this might not be the case on Asia. I don't know because Asia's not out, and Asia's gold to premium cost is entirely dependent on the in-game economy compared to silver. So it really depends on how hard people whale and put more gold into the economy. But on West, this is not currently doable. On West, you pay for premium, which is up here, and then you're not really making enough to cover the cost of premium next month. Essentially, the way it looks is it's just a straight line, kind of curving downwards, and then when your premium is up, boom, and then it just kind of goes like this. Like, just farming alone is not going to sustain your premium. You have to do something else to do it. But when premium is lower than the monthly revenue of your farming crops, it absolutely just looks like this. It's just free money. And again, like I said, crafting, you can't do it. But what I used to do is I have 100 islands. So at one point I had 100 farmers just doing crops all day. So I would pay for the cost of premium. So we'll denote it like this. This is me buying the premium. And then at the end of the month, I could afford 3 premiums. And then those 3 premiums would look like this. And then at the end of the month, we buy the premiums for like 6 premiums. And then it just kept going like that. But SBI has changed things. The economy has changed. So this is no longer the case. It might be the case someday, but currently farming, it's on West, it's just a flat line, and then when you re-premium, it goes down and then down and then down like that. So who knows? But for Asia, we'll denote them with blue. It could potentially, let me draw it like this. It could potentially be something like this. We'll see. We'll see what happens on the Asia server. Okay, now card swiping. This one's pretty obvious. Okay, card swiping is just a line upwards. You're paying real money. You're paying SBI real money to just get rich. So obviously, the sky's the limit. Your real life job is the limit. However, most people like me, okay, I would have to work, I don't know, like 19 to 20 hours in real life. And time is money, all right? So for me, it's like I work 19 hours in real life and then boom. Whereas I could just gather and hit that same point in like a lesser amount of time, okay? So card swiping through the roof, depending on your real life. Next up is transports and mob grinding. So faction transports can look like this. It's a very low startup cost, and then when the transport completes, you get a little boost, and then a little boost, and then oops, you got ganked, and hey, you're making your way back up. You're not getting ganked for a while, and then oops, you got ganked, and then oops, you got ganked, and then oops, you got ganked, and now you're worse off than when you started. And your character did not grow at all during this. Your character got nothing for doing this. You don't earn anything except more hearts. So bad idea. Now, normal transport starts a little bit up here. You need more Gucci like loot to transport, okay? And then whenever your transport completes, it can look something like this. Okay, or it can be or it can just maybe just be a little bump. Okay, just a little bump. So if you're transporting, you get ganked. Guess what? Your little bumps, you lose little bumps. But if you're Gucci transporting, it can look real wild. Okay, it can look something like that, depending on if you get ganked or not. So transporting, it is probably the most profitable thing. It is also the most riskiest thing. There are people that can transport hundreds of millions of silver at a time and make 200 million silver by doing it. But if you get killed by like 10 people, you lose everything. Okay, so mob grinding it's very low and it's very linear. But hey, if you mob grind, you are getting stronger and you will see an increase because you're just earning silver. However, this changes if you're using satchel. If you're using a satchel and auto respec, this is what mob grinding looks like. It's just straight in the dirt. You're basically spending your money to increase your experience gain. So mob grinding, while it can make you silver, when you get more efficient at it, your main purpose of silver in this game will be to grind faster so that you can fame up faster and then PvP with that fame. So mob grinding is technically a loss. It's a silver sink, if you want to call it that. Now, of course, there's other ways to make silver, like investing into skins, investing into mounts. You can see here, like, this chest, when I reopen it, 432 million. When I put my gear back inside, let's see what that increases to, 499 million. Now, I will say that this was over 500 million a couple weeks ago, so something went down in value. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it could be the mammoth. Nah, mammoth's about the same. Investing in mounts, investing in skins, those are the ways to go. Other than that, investing in gear is usually a loss because gear just gets cheaper over time because there will be more of it over time. Other than that, there's really not much else that you can do in this game to make silver without having groups of players. Of course, running a guild or being a YouTuber is other ways to earn more silver. Like, for instance, as a YouTuber, I get referral rewards. So if enough of you guys use my referral link and then actually buy premium, I get a little kickback on gold, which is just free silver for me. And I believe I'm the most referred person in the game. I believe so. I might be slightly behind someone. I'm not really entirely sure. But from comparing numbers to all the top streamers and other top YouTubers, I have more referrals than all of them. So maybe there's just some guy out there that's not famous at all and has more referrals. I don't know. But with that said, that's pretty much the ways to make silver in the game and what you can expect. For me personally, gathering is my go-to for silver. Crafting as a chef is my go-to for silver. That requires premium, though. It used to be farming crops, and, I used to also make potions, but the economy didn't allow me to do that. Crafting bows, that's on and off with the economy, so, again, gathering is just your straight line upwards. It's always going to generate money over time. Other methods can either take too long or are too risky, such as transporting and whatnot, but anyway, I just want to help you visualize how you make silver in Albion Online. I'm SoulBenji, thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. On the right side of your screen, this video you should absolutely click, and if this helped you out a bunch, click that join button right down below, somewhere over here. It's $5 a month. You get access to private, more personal videos that are just advanced guides and better ways to make silver that are too juicy and too good to share with the public, because if I shared those methods, then everyone would do it, and then no one would be able to profit if everyone's doing it. With that said, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Click the video in the pinned comment or on the right side of your screen. Take care. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video.